Welcome back to another episode of the Cape Copcast, Chiefs Chat Edition. I'm one of your hosts, Lisa Greenberg.
And I'm Officer Mercedes Simons. Together we make up the Public Affairs Office, maybe soon to be changing. We'll have more information on that.
What?
Oh, you don't even have to knock. It's a done deal.
Can't believe it.
I'm going over to the Professional Standards Bureau, which is technically, it's not a promotion, it's technically a lateral move, but I'm very excited. It's good to... I always say that like being an officer is the most fun you can have in your career because it's the only time that you can like choose where you go to some extent. You can put in for spots, you get chosen, but
choose your own adventure.
But you can put in for here, you can put in for there, and you can figure out where your strengths lie. You can diversify and just learn completely different things. And I think that's the best part is learning different things. It's not like you're stuck in one spot for forever. You know, it's not a desk job that you're just destined to. You can go and do and explore. Versus when you get promoted, it's kind of like, no, you go here now for us. Thanks. Yeah. So
She's
I'm
now
really
going to be
excited.
Detective Simons.
Big move.
Big move.
You said it's a lateral move, but it's an upward trajectory in your career, and you've earned it. And we're very sad that you're not going to be with us every single day. But we got somebody cool coming in.
Yeah.
More on that later.
We'll introduce you to him at some point. And if you're a avid watcher or listener to the podcast, you've already met him.
Yes.
So there's a little
Spoiler
tease,
alert.
A little spoiler alert. But while we still have her, we're going to tackle another Chiefs chat. Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. Happy
Thanks
Friday.
for being with us. Happy Friday. We have a lot to talk about. First of all, I can't believe that we're already essentially just a few weeks away from the end of summer and school is going to be starting back up again. And we talk a lot about in this time period, the type of crime that we typically see because the juveniles are out, they're doing their thing, they're, being a little adventurous or whatever they think they're being. And so we certainly typically see certain types of crime during the summer months. So we were having some conversations because we had a recent vehicle burglary that involved 3 juveniles. And we were talking about, I wonder where this fits in the narrative of the entire summer. How much of this have we been seeing? How much of this has our officers run into? And our patrol captain actually had put together some interesting information that proves that some of the work that our officers have been doing behind the scenes to suppress this type of crime is actually working.
Yeah, we've talked about the juvenile what do we call it? The Juvenile Task Force?
Task Force.
We call it, okay, yes. Sorry, the JTF, the Juvenile Task Force. Our Community Services Bureau has been working on that. We've actually talked about it in a previous podcast. If you haven't seen that one, go back and watch or listen. But essentially, we've reappropriated our SROs to go out there and make juvenile contacts with all juveniles, but also do some of the secure juvenile checks for those who may be on probation, to go out, see if there's any further issues in the community, whether it be large or small, from e-bike safety to vehicle burglaries. And we've seen a massive impact in what we've been doing.
100%. So let's be clear. There's a lot of kids out for the summer.
Yes.
And most, like the overwhelming majority, are just having a good old-fashioned American summer. And our SROs, who are very familiar with our juveniles because they work with them every day and during the school year, we talked about it, like you said, on that podcast where we do camps, we do all kinds of outreach, training. There's a lot that the SROs do. And one of the things that they do is they form a juvenile task force. And it's twofold. It's positive interaction,
Right.
meeting the good kids, doing good kid things, and keeping the fist bumps up and the positive interaction and that connection. And also as a little visual reminder, don't stray from good old-fashioned fun into, mischief. And then we have those that have been arrested before for anything from burglary all the way up to violent crimes such as robbery, and they are put on home detention or community control, which is a form of home detention, and they have to be home. It's like house arrest.
Yeah.
And if they're not checked, then they will roam and reoffend. And that is a phenomenon that happens.
Yeah.
So one of the best tools that you have is to perform checks. And the Department of Juvenile Justice does that, but they need help because there's a lot of them. So we actually take our top offenders and that are on community control or on juvenile probation or house arrest, and we check on them. And if they're not doing what they're supposed to be, they're not abiding by the conditions of their probation, and then we'll submit violations and they could be rearrested. And if they're there, we keep them there. And if you keep people who have offended abiding by the terms of what they're supposed to do to rehabilitate, then the chance of reoffending or recidivism rate goes down.
Yep.
That's the theory, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I know it's not a theory because it's worked for many, many years, but we put that into practice. And if you look at last summer when we weren't able to do this or we didn't have this initiative, we had a burglary rate that was here. And you look at the same time period this year, by targeting those juvenile offenders and working to make sure that they comply and abide by the conditions, you should see a reduction. And lo and behold, we have a tremendous reduction in burglaries. And not only that, the ones that we do have, we're solving twofold: follow-ups, and going back and getting them. But this is a new advent, is our real-time crime center is allowing us and giving us the tools and the ability to make it in real time. So a lot of these burglary arrests, albeit a tremendous reduction and success has been had, the ones that we're having, we're able to get them at the point of sale, which is really a tremendous turn for the positive for us. So an initiative was launched, executed, and the results are promising.
Yeah, I think it's incredible. I think it just shows that we are hitting it from every angle and it's having a huge impact. We're hitting it from the Community Services Bureau, doing the Juvenile Task Force. Our property crimes unit is usually the one that deals with vehicle burglaries, and either they get those cases assigned to them very quickly, but we've got really good detectives in there.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a lot of technology to be able to, whether it's, surveillance footage that people give us from their homes or neighbors that call in, it's just a lot of follow-up work, and they're pretty good. And they know a lot of the kids. That's what the one thing that I've noticed is you'll walk in and there's like a list of reoccurring names that they all seem to know, which is why we talk about recidivism and the likelihood to reoffend. There's a list of reoccurring names, and these property crimes detectives are passionate about what they do, and they're familiar with all of them.
Yeah.
So if they see a still frame, half the time they're identifying these kids themselves.
Right. And then you have the SROs that have knowledge of them and go, I know who that is. I know what school they go to and where they live. And one thing I do want to note is that we talked about the kids who are just enjoying summer, then those who get into a little bit of trouble, and then those who get into real trouble. That group, I want to talk about that group. There are a good percentage of those kids, because we believe in the criminal justice system, right? That's our life's work. A big component of the criminal justice system is rehabilitating, and especially juveniles.
Yep.
You're not marked for life if you get caught doing something wrong. You're breaking into a car, or you go and you get in a fight with a friend or an acquaintance and you snatch their chain and it's a robbery, and you're not marked forever. Now, you have a choice in life. You can and go down that path, but there are tools in place, and we are a part of that to help you get back on the right path. And there are a lot of kids who will take advantage. It's weird to say it's an opportunity.
Yeah, it is.
When you get caught, you get in trouble, and you get on house arrest, or you have conditions placed on you, that becomes an opportunity. Not one you wanted, but it's an opportunity to make a choice. And a lot of them are making the right choice to rehabilitate themselves and get back on the sidewalk, moving in the right direction to finish school and then do something with your life after school. So it's important to note that there are a lot of success stories like that. It doesn't show up on the sheet, but there are plenty of people, plenty of producing, productive, awesome adult members of society who strayed when they were younger.
Yeah.
And because somebody invested in them and provided them with the opportunity to make the right choice, they've righted the ship, and they are uber successful now. And we still believe in that, and that is a huge component of the criminal justice system, is rehabilitation and get them back.
Of course. That's always the goal.
Yeah, their terms and conditions aren't a joke either. I've gone to a couple of the different juvenile probation meetings because some of our officers will go, whether it be school resource officers or whatever, just because they know the kid, they want to stay involved and they want to mentor them and push them in the right direction. So sometimes they'll go to these meetings. I went to one actually with the officer Matt Mills. He was really invested in this kid. And I was listening to the terms because you always kind of hear, they go to the juvenile assessment center. Sometimes they get help, but usually they get sent home with their parents. It is what it is. And I think sometimes that can aggravate people. But when they get put on probation, you have to be home. Usually it's by 6 p.m., which means you're not going out to dinner with your mom at 7. Your parents they also have to face the consequences of their kids' actions almost.
Right. Parents are held accountable for it because they have to make sure that their kids are complying.
For sure.
And if they need help, we're able to help them. And it's a whole cycle.
It restricts them too.
You're right. And people do get frustrated when somebody gets arrested. If you're a victim of something and it's a juvenile and they get arrested, they go to DJJ or Department of Juvenile Justice, which is like kid jail. The max that you hold somebody in kid jail or DJJ is 21 days. And that is reserved for homicides, robberies, extreme crimes. They get 21 days. So if that's the max and that's the correlating crime to that, criminal mischief, car hopping, burglaries, they're going to get released right back.
Yeah.
But the free ride is not there.
No.
I mean, they're home and, why aren't they? There's a whole system behind that, but they have those conditions imposed upon them. They're pretty much in jail at home.
Yeah.
Where they cannot go outside to do that.
Right.
So as long as they follow the path, we're there to help, and we want them to get back to really having a chance at having a good adulthood.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
But really good success. I got off track on that, but we had a burglary issue or a property crime issue that happens every summer, and it's been pretty consistent up here. Refocus and a scientific change in what we do has immediately resulted in a big drop, and it's a big credit to our Community Services Bureau and the work that our SROs do 365, not just the 180 that they're in school, but it is a 365 job, and the results are glowing, I would say.
Yeah.
I was reading a report too, so I feel like we have to toss this reminder in there that I was reading a report, and it was a young girl who was being arrested for car hopping, basically going throughout the neighborhood, stealing a car, ditching it, finding another one to steal. And she said she was bored, and just was looking for something to do. And so it's just a reminder to parents to have those conversations with their kids. This isn't a joke. This isn't just something you do when you're bored. If you're bored, go hang out with your friends and play video games or ride your bike or whatever. Don't do this because there are consequences, as we just discussed. So
there are, but on the legitimate juvenile justice side, but you also have a society. We're encroaching upon 250,000 people here, and there's a wide, diverse pattern of thought with our citizenry. We are also now a constitutional carry state, an open carry state, and some people will really protect their property. So you could get yourself in really, really dangerous situation doing that with some people in our society. So find another way to beat the boredom.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, people get alerts now, you hear there's motion by your front door, it rings to your phone, you go check it out. It's not like, oh, I find my car was, ransacked in the morning. It's, right then at 2:30 in the morning, and you go maybe confront the problem yourself, which creates a huge, security risk for one party or the other.
Yeah, it could be bad. So, but yeah, good stuff, good work. And speaking of summer, winding down, something else is going to be ramping up, and the start of school is less than a month away.
I know.
The very beginning of August. I think it's the 8th, somewhere around there.
You've got the school-aged kid.
I think it's August
Tuesday,
11th.
The 11th, which I'm like, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah. It's anyway, very, very soon. And we've had, I guess you call it a reprieve. The Red Speed school zone camera system has been off for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
There's routine maintenance for it, and there's no school in session. There was an option not to do it for the limited amount of campuses that have summer school. But it is coming back, and it would be a good idea as you're doing your commute for the next couple of weeks, familiarize yourself on your home to work, home to
daycare,
anywhere you're going routinely. Know the school zones in your area. And then what can often catch people is if they don't routinely go to the doctor, but the route to the doctor takes you through a school zone. The signs are up, even though they're not active. The posts are there, the lights aren't flashing, but the hardware is in place. Good idea to take the next couple of weeks to familiarize yourself or reacclimate yourself to your surroundings on your traditional routes and know where those school zones are, and then be prepared. The first day of school is going to come. There's going to be 8 million buses around. There are several hundred cars per campus doing drop-off, and there are many, many people who it's their first year at school, their first year going from elementary to middle or middle to high school, new to the area. There's a lot of unfamiliarity. It is crazy town the first week or so.
Yeah, the first week is always really hectic and stressful for everybody.
It slows down or becomes more routine. People get used to it. The school, there's new people that work at the school that are used to the flow. So everybody's getting used to it. We're all in this together. A few weeks into school, it really settles into a groove. But the first week for sure, and maybe the first or second week, it can be a little hairy. We get it. Everybody gets it. It's going to be that.
Yep. So maybe practice going the speed limit, or at least 10 under the speed limit now. Get used to working that muscle.
Yeah. Just familiarize yourself, be ready. And beyond the ticket, there's going to be a ton of kids out.
Definitely.
Right? And that's what it's really about. So there's going to be kids walking on the sidewalks, crossing. There's crossing guards, be ready for them. Bikes, e-bikes, scooters, parent drop-off. There's a whole city that's going to be dropped in and imported on top of the city, right? And that's the school environment. So
kids with their faces in their device when they're crossing the road.
Yeah, all the stuff is coming back. Yep. So be ready, and good opportunity to take a couple weeks to catch your breath, because here it comes.
Here it comes. All right, Chief. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Got it. Thanks for having me.
We will see you next time.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Stay safe. Thank you for listening to the Cape Copcast, where we dive into the heart of the Cape Coral Police Department's safety initiatives, community relations, and the insightful stories of different officers that make up our department.
Please like and share our podcast. If you have feedback, you can email capepdpao@capecoral.gov. And remember to follow us on social media. Our handle is @CapePD on all major platforms. Stay safe, stay Cape.